Did you feel like you forgot how to drift in that time? To a certain extent?
So I'll be honest, I don't know if there's anybody else on the planet like this, but I forget how to drift until I'm there.
So I got me a 55-gallon drum in the shop of the 93, and it's like Kool-Aid red. This sounds weird, but it looks very appealing. And then you smell it and you're like, that smells appealing too. Is this even gas?
In my opinion, at least right now, I prefer partying. It just feels like that's what drifting was made for, man.
Absolutely.
I just feel like it's
a rolling car show, dog.
Yeah.
I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy.
Welcome back to the #1 Drift Podcast on YouTube, presented by Injuku Racing. My name is Dawson, and today we have...
Michael Christen.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate you coming on. You drove, what was it, 10 hours, you said?
Just about 10 hours, yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, he texted me at like 8 this morning. It's like, I'm on the way.
I was already driving for hours.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, before we get into it, of course, we are actually almost at 20K. I think we're about to hit 18 or already did, or by the time, I don't know. But we may have already hit 20K by the time this episode comes out. So if we did, hell yeah. If not, look below the video. Make sure that subscribe button is not still red. If it is, click it and hit the bell notification while you're at it, so you're always updated with every single episode. And the next events that I will be at as well is with Immersion Motorsports. It's down in Texas. He hit me up wanting me to come out, so we're going to try and make that work before we go to the Drift Mansion in July, which that's not spectated. So, sorry. Enjoy the media, though. I don't know what to tell you there, but as you're seeing on the list of events that I'll be at, there are some that are not there. We're probably going to add a couple more. We're just figuring it out as we go. Anyways. But yeah, if you want to come see me at or the car at any of those events, check them out. And then what does that say? Holy shit, I can't see. Oops. Oh, yeah. So at Grid Life, I was dealing with a bunch of boost issues on the car. So we deemed it the turbo as the issue. I had Jason drive it and stuff too. So as y'all saw in his podcast. So we got a Garrett GT 3076R in for the car. So hopefully that will get it fixed. So hopefully no more boost issues and we'll be good to go for Texas. But yeah, thank you, Injuku, for getting that to me so quickly. It showed up in like 2 or 3 days, which is nuts. So yeah, if you guys are looking for a turbo or anything, they got you covered. Also, yeah, there's no also. That was all I really had. So if you kind of want to, sorry, that I feel like every episode I say this very long-winded intro, but get over it. If you want to give a little deeper introduction on who you are, kind of what you do, what you drive, stuff like that.
My name is Michael Christen again. I drive a 2007 Cadillac CTS. I've been driving it
sick
for about 4 years. I think this is my 4th year with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a party animal. It's pretty much what it is.
I didn't realize you had it that long.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It has to be 4 years now. So.
Yeah.
It's changed every year, so it's like not the same at all.
As they should.
So,
you gotta keep it fresh.
Yeah. My first year was pretty much like a normal car.
Yeah.
And that lasted no time. Yeah, it's been bad. It's every winter is some ridiculous thing going on with it. So
Fair
I got
enough.
a bunch of custom stuff going on here actually next weekend. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, we'll get to that in a little bit actually. First, with I mentioned the Drift Mansion coming up. You actually were just at the most recent one, correct?
Yep, back in December.
How was that experience for you?
Firstly, it was the coolest Christmas thing I've ever done in my life. I've never even drifted in December, let alone like...
Really?
Yeah, have an event
My first
like that.
event was in December.
I'm in Pittsburgh. I mean, all of our events end, August. Sometimes you'll have a random event in November and like it's shut down until, April,
Yeah.
So when I talked to Scott, he invited me out and I went out and it's up there. It's one of my probably top 5 favorite things I've ever done.
Dude, that's what most people are saying, man. And like, it's been one of those bucket lists. As soon as I saw that place even open up, before all the concrete was added and everything, I was like, that's bucket list shit. I want to be there.
My first experience seeing it was actually on Taylor Ray's video.
Really?
Years ago, yeah. And I was like, that's it. I gotta go to that. And I didn't even know they did all the renovations this year. I didn't even know. I thought I was going to like an oval, you know?
Yeah.
And they redid everything, and it's massive. And there's enough ways they change the layout every couple of hours. And it's so much faster than it ever looked. I mean, if you think it's a small track, then you're wrong.
You were saying that before we
track.
hopped on the press record and everything. And I mentioned the very back sweeper. I assume it's in the back, right?
Yeah.
So that back sweeper, and it's like not perfectly curved or anything, so you kind of got to work for it and stuff too. So
apparently they had issues at the previous event. They didn't go into detail, but it was along the lines of people going down the back hillside.
Oh shit!
Don't quote me 100%, but that's kind of what they were talking about. And so they actually didn't let us go back there. They ran grid back there, but most of the layouts ended on that either left side or right side. And so, you know, if you're feeling frisky, you could go for it. You know, we
do not condone. Don't do that. Don't piss off your event hosts. But if you get a little frisky, I understand.
Yeah. It's sometimes hard. And they know that too. And they know. Yeah. They expect most people want to do that side, and I get it. But when you're there, you see it. It's really narrow. And if you don't know your car 100%, I don't suggest doing that at all. I mean, you shouldn't even be at that event.
Those K-rails aren't that forgiving either, are they? Yeah, that's what I thought.
They have some hard walls there, like corners. Not walls, but they have some corners that are hard. Otherwise, most of it's just like the plastic go-kart stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah.
A dozen people went through it over the weekend. The lower hillside, I mean, we were watching people go off that hillside once an hour. It was honestly, it was mildly entertaining. No one got hurt. No one had any issues with the car. It's just grass.
Dude, it's like that. Did you see that video from South Carolina Grid Life, the media guy that was sitting there eating a sandwich in the fucking backy in the background? That would be perfect.
Crazy,
for a reel like that.
Yeah. And, but I tell everybody it's expensive. It's not cheap, but stay in the house. There's options to not stay in the house. Don't be that person. Stay in the house.
Oh, I'm being that person.
Yeah, don't not be that person.
Unless you're me. I don't drink, so like I'm a very like I like to go to bed at a decent hour, which hardly ever happens, ironically. But when I'm out, it's even worse.
Well, so am I. I'm an old man.
Yeah.
In heart. So I go to sleep early. Me and my brother, actually, we didn't party a ton. I feel like I was super antisocial and awkward, but I swear like there was nothing wrong with it. I was just tired.
Right.
But like I don't drink or nothing. If you do, they party in the garage. They don't actually party in the house.
Yeah.
The garage set up once you get there and see.
Why would you in the house? The shop is there.
Yeah, they party in the shop. And they were out. If you're a party animal, I mean, they were out until 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I've been out with Scott. I'm sure they were out till 4 in the morning at some point.
Scott's there first thing in the morning trying to eat breakfast, has no voice, trying to walk over and talk to me. He's like, I'm like, just stop.
Oh,
just
Scott's
stop.
The best.
Yeah, it was a good time. It's just, it was so phenomenal. I could talk about it all day. It was such a great track.
Oh, I'm sure. So they didn't have the shuttles and stuff then, right?
Shuttles?
Yeah, so this time they're doing shuttles to and from the hotel.
And
like the whole pack, like when you did, the people that didn't stay at the Airbnb, was it still a whole package deal where the hotel was included? Like they got your hotel for you?
That's new then.
Dude, yeah. It's all a package deal now.
Oh, yeah, no.
Hotel's included, your meals all weekend. You get option for shuttle to and from the hotel at the end of the night if you still want to stay and party. And I think the last one goes at like 2 a.m. or some shit.
That's really cool. Like I said, I stayed in the house.
Yeah.
We stayed in the truck bed room.
Nice. Yeah.
That was interesting, but it was so awesome. Like the
Interesting. No, I'm just kidding.
well, no. So one thing they didn't go over a ton before we showed up. We all showed up. We're like, where do we even go? Like in the house. Like,
Yeah.
Well, we go into our room and there's 3 beds.
Yeah.
Those
You
are
got
for 3
multiple
drivers.
people and
Those are for 3 drivers. So like we found that out. So like we were sleeping with random people, which was cool. Actually, we met everybody. Everyone was real nice.
Yeah. He listened on that one. It's by room now.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
it's
It was just,
perfect.
if we knew ahead of time, I feel like it'd been cool. But like we had no idea. So like we were roomed with, oh man, I feel bad. I forgot his name. But it was him and his wife. So like it's me and my brother, 2 grizzly guys sleeping in a bed together. And then like this guy and his wife have to sleep there, I'm like, I feel bad for you.
Right.
Like, so like that was interesting. But like it didn't do nothing. We were fine. We we're cool with everything. So
That's sick.
so everything worked out great. I have no complaints, but it was just interesting showing up and not knowing what was going to happen. So
Yeah.
and there probably is something that said that. I just didn't see it, I can drive. I don't mean I can read.
Yeah, we don't pay attention a lot when it comes to reading. So it's our own fault, but whatever. So you drove the Caddy there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
You won the wheels though, the
I
Kansei
did.
wheels.
I won a bunch of stuff there.
Shout out to Kansei. Get you
wild.
some wheels, dog.
Yeah, these wheels are the best. Like
You got the Astros, didn't you?
Yeah, and I bought the 18 by 11s squared, so like they're massive.
You run by 11 up front?
Oh, up front, yeah.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
if you see my car now with them, that's 11 the whole way around. Yeah.
Why?
Because like
That's an absurd
so-
amount of grip up front.
I run a smaller tire up front, so they're stretched a little. But
Yeah.
I love squared look, and then the other
that's
thing
fair.
was when you get the 18 by, I think it's 9.5 or whatever.
Mhm.
It's not concave anymore. It's gone. It's just a flat
Yeah,
face. So then I'd have
yeah.
the rear concave and the front flat. And I was like, no. I was like, I'll
I
order
get
all
that.
4. Even if
Yeah.
they don't fit, I'll figure it out.
Wide body it is,
It
brother.
already is. So I was like, worst case scenario, I got to make it wider.
Yeah.
And actually, as funny as it sounds, they are an inch wider than the Cosmos wheels I had on previous year, and they fit better. They
Nice.
actually are wider. They fit better. They actually clear everything better. It's super weird.
Fucking
Don't ask me.
sick.
There's some scientific reasoning,
Yeah.
and I have no idea. But they fit 10 times better. I can actually fit bigger
Shout out
tires on the
Kansei.
back, and everything. It's super crazy. I love them. They're amazing.
Fucking mint.
And then I want a set of tires.
So what? Okay, hold on. How do you win this stuff at the Drift Mansion?
So basically, so you show up, and like we showed up, everyone unloaded their cars, and then you got to line them all up for pictures and stuff, and then you go inside. And then it was either Scott or Mike, I believe, one of the two is handing off the raffle tickets.
right.
And I can't remember the exact amount. I think it was only 7 tickets, and there's like 15 boxes. Don't quote me on the numbers, but like that's pretty much about
Yeah.
what it was. And the boxes are all different stuff. You had like ECUs and wheels, tires, steering wheels, everything.
Yeah.
And gift cards from Injuku Racing, all kinds of stuff. And by the way, they didn't really. They might have told us, but I don't know. I didn't think the gift cards were big. I was thinking like all these were like $50 gift cards. They were massive gift cards, by the way.
Like
Like
Juku don't play with their gift
no
cards, dog.
idea. Like, that was crazy.
Yeah.
So I went there and I was like, I really, really wanted the Drift Mansion custom steering wheel. I thought that was sick. And I was like, that is just, it's not an expensive thing in my opinion, but like the trinket. And I was like, I really wanted that. And then I was like,
Wall art, dog.
yeah. And I was like,
look what we got up here, man. Come on.
exactly. And I was like, this would just be sweet. And then, so I put him in that, and then I put him in the wheels and tires. And Friday night, I won a shift knob from Grip Royal.
Sick.
One of the
Okay.
custom made ones.
Yeah.
I ended up giving it to my wife.
They're all one of one,
Yeah.
technically.
Okay,
but,
yeah.
You know.
They are. And it's sweet. Like that thing's sweet. If you guys ever want a shift knob, like that thing's sweet.
Yeah.
So I won that Friday night. I was like, okay, I was kind of down a little. I don't know why. I just kind of felt like it's like I don't ever win anything.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Dude,
So-
that's a fucking thing. Like, real quick, I know I've talked about the GS Drift giveaways. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
The only thing I've ever won out of that, which I don't enter a lot because I hate gambling, but
So do I.
they doing car giveaways after car giveaway after car giveaway, and then they did a New Year's one with parts at dealer's cost for a year. You think that sounds sweet, but it's like, $300, you get $20 off. Like, okay.
Yeah.
I feel that, dude. You get the runt of the giveaway, and it's like, I hate saying that. That sounds so bad. That's not even the runt of the giveaway, because the shift knobs are fucking sick, and it's not even, I didn't think that was the least expensive thing of the giveaways, right?
I'm trying to think.
It may have been.
I don't really even know what they were retail, so I'm not even sure.
I don't want to actually. Yeah, I don't want to.
But it wasn't that I thought it was like a cheap thing or something. It just wasn't what I was strictly looking for.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah,
and that was kind of my thing. And then so like Saturday, I was just like, I was barely holding the raffle tickets up. I was like, I ain't gonna win. And I'm sitting there holding the tickets.
What's the point?
Yeah, and I'm like, whatever. And so I'm just sitting, I'm holding the tickets. I'm not even looking at them. They're calling them off. Guys are winning left and right. I'm like, I don't even care. Like,
all of a sudden, nobody stands up.
But that's
and you're like, wait, hold on.
So they called for the wheels, and I was actually telling my brother, I'm like, I'm just going home buying these wheels. Like, I'm just gonna go buy them. Like, I was buying them either way. And so I got there, and they called the ticket. I'm just holding them. I'm just looking at everybody, just looking around, waiting for the guy to. Yeah, I won.
Right.
And like my brother goes, you won. Those are yours. I was like, wait. I look at him like,
you're tripping, dog.
Yeah,
whatever.
I was like, call it again. And I was like, oh no. And so I won that. And then the very next ticket, I also won a set of tires. And I was like, holy crap. Like, I was on cloud nine. It was wild. I had such a good
That's
night.
awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, good choice of wheel too.
And everything came real quick. I had no major issues.
Yeah.
FedEx had an issue, but I didn't have any issues.
That's fucking FedEx dude. Anyways, let's not do that.
But they said they sent the tires out to me. And like, I let it go because they were free. I'm like, you take your time. It's Christmas.
Exactly.
And it was like the end of January. So I sent them an email. I'm like, hey, like, I'm not rushing. Take your time. But like, what's going on? And they're like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You have them. Send me the tracking number. Send me a picture of them on a porch. They were like, here you go.
Fucking bastards.
And I was like, so I click on the link, go to the website, and I scroll down to the address. I'm like, they got shipped to Missouri. I was like, I live in Pennsylvania.
Oh, hell no. They're at the Drift Mansion.
And he's like, oh my God. I was like, so I was just like, crap. And so like, that was funny. He thought it was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. And they sent me a new set in my house. So that was good. So,
that's awesome.
But that was the only issue I had. So that was really funny.
What tires were they?
They were giving out Acceleras.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been wanting to try the fucking what is it, the Grivas and shit.
So I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a Kenda guy. I don't use anything else. You can go check my FRS. Everything I have has Kendas on it. I'm a Kenda guy. I don't care what anyone says.
The Valinos are intriguing, bro. Because
they are, but they're so much more expensive.
They are. They are.
And
I understand why. It's like the dude that runs Valino USA has a normal fucking full-time day job.
Right.
He answers all the emails for Valino at night and shit. Like, it's very small here in the US, so that's why. But like, I hear so much good shit about the Valino tires.
Yeah.
I really want to try them.
I've thought about it. I actually almost did just a couple weekends ago at a private event, but I changed my mind because they're like $200 a tire. I was like,
yeah, but Kendas are fucking expensive now too. I'd buy Acceleras over Kendas.
I'm a Kenda dealer, so I get them at cost.
You fucking cheater!
So I'm cheating, but I'm a Kenda fanboy. I was using, Ironmans and everything else.
Yeah. No,
and then
don't do that.
After COVID, Ironman shot up. They used to be a $50 tire. $50, I'd buy 10 dozen of them. Like, we'd be good. They're $100.
You buy Kendas for fucking $60, $70.
Yeah, but now when Ironmans are now the same price as Kendas, I'm like, I'll just go to Kendas.
Yeah.
They're so much more consistent. And I've been a better driver since using them. So I'm just happy with them.
Hell yeah.
So I'm a big guy. I'm a big guy too, but I'm big on once I find something that works, just sticking with it. Change for the sake of change is just not it for me anymore. I was big on that, and it like hurt me learning how to drift for a long time.
Yeah.
Trying to change things, and once I figure out what works, I just stick to it. So they work, I stick to it.
Solid. Oh yeah.
And yeah, I love seeing them. They're an FD and everything else. That's a beautiful thing.
Oh yeah, Kenda being an FD.
Yeah,
that's fucking nuts.
Yeah, they're sponsors and
especially
FD
after
now.
having to shut down and then coming to that.
Yeah, and now they're
Big
sponsoring
balls.
a lot of smaller events too. Like I do, Drift Indy, and there's big for them as well. So I just run them. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get like more of a rundown on your car then.
Okay.
So let's start with the CTS because the FRS or BRZ.
FRS.
Okay, the FRS is fairly new, so
yeah.
We'll start with the Caddy.
So my Caddy, it was actually, so like in 2018, right before COVID, I sold my 240. I had an S14.5, and I sold it, and my goal was like I want an FRS. That was my goal for a long time, and I was like, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So I pulled my whole setup, like engine tranny out, sold the car, bought an FRS. But the one thing I wanted to make sure was I wanted the FRS to have a title. And I found a car with a title, but it had an R title. I was like, I don't care. I don't plan on selling it. I'm cutting it up and caging it, Right. But it had to have a title because I want to drive it on the street. And that was one thing I couldn't do with my 240 because I didn't have a title for it.
I gotcha.
And it causes so many more problems. Like, I honestly, being able to test the car on the street and, do a lot of things. You can't do that with that car.
Yeah.
So my Caddy was actually my mom's car. It was just, it blew up. And it sat out in the back of my shop.
Oh, no shit.
It was a base model V6, automatic, completely stock, grandma's car.
Yeah.
But it blew up and it just sat there because they're Cadillacs.
Gray and wood grain interior, probably. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, solid.
Whole nine. And it was a fully loaded, the premium package. It was wild. And it was just sitting there. It was sitting there for a couple years. And I was like, I sold that car. I got the FRS, and then I was having title problems with the FRS because it had a Florida R title or something along those lines, and PA doesn't like that. So they were giving me the runarounds. I just stopped with the FRS. I just never looked at it again. It just sat out back. Put all kinds of money into it. Just sat. And
that sucks.
My Caddy though had a title, and I was like, well, I have this motor. I had a CD09. I was like, V8's coming.
What's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst that could happen? So I put the motor in and I ended up doing everything CTSV. So I'm talking the dash, the body panels, bumper, brakes, whole nine is CTSV. Unless you are a CTSV enthusiast, because I got caught once, you won't know. And when I say caught, I had this guy, I was up at Drift Indy. I swear to you, he comes up to me. He's like, dude, this is the sweetest CTSV I've ever seen. I was like, thank you. He's like, but it's not a CTSV. I was like, how do you know? He goes, they never came in blue. And I was no.
Son of a bitch.
I didn't know that. So I was like, crap. And I wasn't lying about it. I tell people all the time.
Paint it, stat.
But he just walked up and seen it because I do have all the V badges on it and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I told him, I was like, it's not even a CTSV because he originally thought I painted it. I was like, it's not. It's just a base model.
That's funny. Caught you on your bullshit.
Yeah. Calling me out. He's like, you got CTSV badges. It's not one. And I was like, darn. But I always tell people I'm more proud of it not being a CTSV than anything.
Yeah.
Especially because most of the CTSV community didn't think that was possible.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't think it was even possible to put a V8 and do all that stuff to that car. So to see it done is just, I think it's more fun.
Absolutely. You don't see that chassis used very often, just in drifting alone. One of my clients for my media company, Scotty, he's building a wagon.
I seen that,
and that thing's gonna be fucking nuts.
I've been following it. It's pretty sweet.
It's super cool to see it because who was it that had a CTS in FD?
Fuck,
why am I Taylor Hall?
Yeah, Taylor Hall.
So obviously that chassis didn't last him very long. Didn't suit him very well. He's better than the Corvette. I get it. Blah blah blah.
I just think the parts alone, just being able to have bolt-on parts.
Yeah.
Josiah has done so much work on the Corvettes over the last couple of years. Honestly, you can't even argue it. I get it. I was so disappointed when he got rid of that car. Because I was just like, man, I just love it.
I got to see him when he came out and tested it at NSS before it had livery, before it had body panels, before it had everything on it. That car was loud as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that thing's sweet. I mean, for whatever it's worth, I love Taylor Hall's driving too. Like, I know most people like always have issues with him, but I love his cars. I just love everything about it. So I always follow him along too. So.
I don't think it's a bad thing, but like his first couple years in FD, I think he was trying to push too hard to like show out, and that's what it was, and like get noticed and stuff, and like fucking run the game however you want, dog. I get it.
Yeah, I do what you need to do to make it happen. So
yeah,
at the end of the day, that's your job, you know. So you need to do what you need to do.
Absolutely.
So,
did you have any more to share on the CTS?
I mean, pretty much. I mean, from there, it was a completely accident on drifting with it. I took a break when my daughter was born, and I wanted to take some time away from drifting because I'm sure you know and everyone else knows is drifting takes a lot of time. So when my daughter was born, I took a little break, couple years, and then that's when I built that car. It was not a drift car.
Yeah,
I just built it so I could have a street car that was like fun. And
that's a family car.
Yeah. And so I was like, I'm driving it every day. And, you know, it's this loud, straight pipe, 500 horse car. I'm just like, I need to drift. I've been drifting my whole life and I ain't done it. I was like, everyone's like, just go take the caddy. I was like, I shouldn't do that. And so I was like, screw it. I'm going to weld a diff. You know, no one's ever even welded a diff before on these things, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll figure it out. Honestly, it was super easy. I loved it.
Really?
Yeah, the case splits in half, like, long ways.
Oh, wow.
So the diff just pops out. You just weld it right there on the table. It's super cool. But they're weak diffs, but that's a really fun part of it.
Yeah, still,
although they say
that's
it's
cool.
weak, and I'm on year 4, and I've had probably 50 plus events with that thing. I break more axles than diffs. I've never broke a diff. This year will be the year.
Yeah, now these.
But I welded the diff, and I went to a Club Loose event, just a little one, and I was hooked. I was like, holy crap. Like, I went out, and between just everyone just like thoroughly confused, and then like I just threw down with it. I took it right back, cut the knuckles, and started doing all kinds of stuff to it. Yeah, it was immediate.
Is it still cut knuckles today?
Oh yeah, I'm still on cut knuckles.
No shit. Nobody makes an angle kit for it, right?
So Josiah sells a V2 kit, which just like 2 months ago, people started adapting to the V1. Josiah's had a ton of problems. I've been trying to work with him. I was actually going to take my car up this past winter, up to his shop, but I couldn't figure out how to get my car into Canada. Like, people were like giving me different answers. I've never been to Canada.
Even if it's on a trailer?
Well, yeah, I just didn't know. And like, everyone was giving me stuff like saying like, you got to have like all this paperwork. And I was just like, I was so nervous. I'm like, if I take my car to Canada, I can't bring it back or something. I was like, I can't. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So, and no one could give me a straight answer. So
my buddy Wes did it.
I just took
his Corvette up there.
I just have no idea. He's not even that far from me. He's like 4 hours. I'd have did it no problem.
I think he did.
But he made a kit, sent it to somebody, and it didn't fit right. Something was wrong. Like, it fit, but like it just didn't have the angle or something it hit. I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
But he didn't do it. Like, he didn't have a car there. You know, he did it.
Yeah, he's going all off of schematics and CAD and everything.
So he's like, I need a car. So I was talking to Josiah, and he's like, I need a car. Yeah. And I was like, I'll bring you my car. You know what I mean? I don't care. Like, I need this done. And I was going to do it. But as soon as I was going to do it, I was having those issues. And it might be something silly. Like, I might just be able to take my car up there. I just have no idea. I was getting people telling me off the wall stuff. And I just got nervous. And could not lose that car. Dude, if I lost that car, especially to the Canadian government, I don't know what I would do.
Oh, I'd lose my fucking shit, brother. I know.
So I kind of stopped doing that, and then just a couple months ago they started adapting the V2 kit to the V1 that FDF makes.
What was the change from V1 to V2 that you know of?
So you have to basically swap over to all V2 suspension in the front. Okay. Apparently it all bolts right on. You just have to get the upper control arm and the knuckle off of V2. Yeah. And then you buy the FDF kit, which is like a lower knuckle bolt on and then a lower control arm and tie rod. Huh. So I plan on doing that. Going to try to do it this summer, but
nice. Okay.
For right now, I'm just on cut knuckles and poly bushings.
Fucking sick that there's even an option out there. Hell.
Yeah. And the moment like FDF posted the video about that caddy, I was on it. Like, And I even thought about buying it and putting it on, but somebody told me last year, he said he bought the kit and went to go put it on his car and it didn't fit. But he didn't try swapping the knuckles and stuff like that. He just tried to bolt it onto his stock, suspension. It didn't fit.
Yeah. See, dude, that's a fucking going issue with almost any manufacturer out there. The person putting on the part is the one not doing it right. And I've done it fucking God knows how many times.
Everyone has. But yeah, so I've been dealing with that with angle, but honestly, my car has so much angle, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
I can park it, it's got so much angle. I don't even use all of it. So
how many degrees do you use?
I don't know the exact degrees. Yeah. But I have pictures of my car. You can see in drift,
at least 60 degrees.
Yeah, at least.
Sick.
The
big body.
Yeah, it's massive. It was a learning curve too with how heavy the car was. And kind of building the car to get certain things. The car, for some reason, those cars have a tremendous amount of forward bite, but no side bite. There's none. And I don't I've talked to other drivers that have them because there's 8 of us on the country. And so we all talk. We have a group chat on Facebook. We always talk. And pretty much all of us were having side bite problems. It just didn't seem like you could, pull.
Yeah.
So a lot of what I've pretty much been working on the car, since 2019 was building that grip on the car. And it's gotten a lot better over the years, changing some suspension geometry around and stuff like that.
Okay. Aren't they pretty heavy? Given they're a luxury vehicle,
ungodly heavy.
Okay. I
pretty much tell most people, I have 500 horsepower. Yeah. 500 horsepower 240 is nuts. I tell most people my car is basically a 350Z, stock.
That sucks.
It's got a little more torque, so I got the torque of the V8 and stuff. So I can low RPM drag versus a VQ can't. But it's slow. It's not slow, but in comparison, I drive with a lot of fast cars. And
you got full interior, you said too? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a full interior car.
It's fucking heavy.
I keep it that way, and I people all the time got the car. My favorite times are filling my car with people and just throwing.
Dude, see, that's what I was gonna ask, because that's kind of what Scott's doing, is building a taxi style drift car with 4 bucket seats.
Yeah.
So that has to be one of the best looking and coolest cars to do a taxi style drift car.
Yeah.
Because you could do a G35, whatever, but it's not as big.
Yeah.
So it's easier to make the room fit in a CTS. Oh God! Now that the angle kits and stuff are there, I'm kind of mad that nobody really does that.
Yeah. The V2 is even heavier than the V1, which is kind of why I don't want to go up to a V2, because then I'm really gonna have to add more horsepower to it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to stay away from the V2. Plus the V1 to me just looks better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're heavy. But I don't want to gut the car. I'm telling you, I drive a lot at Lake Erie Speedway.
Okay.
That their summer, spring, and fall mats events.
Yeah.
And they're party events. You know what I mean? And it's my favorite times in the last 4 years are Saturday nights at these events. And there's not 30 cars on track at one time.
Yeah.
There is, but
yeah,
if you know, type deal. And I got my entire car full of people. I'll throw 5 people in my car.
We did that this past weekend at Riverside Drift.
Oh, okay.
We had 5 people in the back of a E46. Holy fuck!
You got to learn how to drive with it too.
It was on stock suspension. It was a buck 20 horsepower. No business.
Yeah,
I couldn't doing this whatsoever. But yeah,
because my car, there's videos and pictures of my car with tons of people in it, and you'll see my car squatting, smacking off the ground. It's sitting like that, and
that's why I didn't take that jump too well at Drift Mansion.
For sure. That's probably why I was the only one who had the bigger issue.
Yeah.
Because people were breaking stuff, but I broke stuff. I was probably, I think I was the only one who had to be towed off track for that jump.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've never broke 2 axles at one time in my life, so it's definitely was an experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really want to gut the car. Contemplated it, but it's just so much fun.
I gutted the rear of mine, and I kind of regret it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I wish it was a full interior, kind of clean on the inside.
That's the way it is.
Deal.
You know, I just have a harness bar and stuff.
Yeah,
and I have a bucket. Don't drift with leather big ass Cadillac seats.
Yeah, no.
I tried once.
Those things are like couches, bro.
I tried once.
Comfy, but not in drift.
I'm literally swaying. Like, they're so big, you know? They're like this big.
Sitting in your passenger's lap and shit while you're driving.
It was bad. So, like, the first upgrade I did to that car was a bucket seat. Although it's still Cadillac, so it's power, it's heated seat and stuff like that.
Damn, that hurts to get rid of.
No, like my bucket seat's a heated seat and everything. Yeah.
Yo, what?
Yeah. They sell them. You can buy the pads to put into your racing seat and stuff. I have it on the factory.
Wait, who does that?
You can buy them from Summit Racing. Yeah, they're
holy shit.
Heated pads, 2 wires. You hook them up. Yeah. And it's a full power seat. It moves forward and back and everything. Yeah.
Bro, that's cool.
What
the fuck?
So I still try to keep some luxury involved with the car.
Yeah.
'Cause I do drive it on the street, which is, the fun part of it. And yeah, I just did the harness bar because a couple tracks required it if you're running a 4-point harness. Because originally, I get it. I just had them bolted down to the floor. And
don't do that.
Don't
fucking do that.
So I put a nice harness bar in it and stuff like that. So now it's all legit.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's been a build process. Like, I've just been building it as the need comes.
Yeah.
I'm a really big fan of overbuilding everything you ever do. And so with this car, I've pushed back from
one of those guys.
I am. It's actually been an issue with me.
Where'd all my money go?
I enjoy building cars. That's the thing. I actually enjoy doing it. And it just so happens like I enjoy, obnoxiously building them. And that's how my S14 came about.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that car here in a little bit because that's the one I'm interested in.
It's a sweet
honestly,
car.
The most, but
I missed that car. That's why I bought another 240. It was because of that car.
Yeah. Before we get into that one though, tell me a little bit about the FRS because that's what you drove here in.
Yeah, I drove it 10 hours and I just registered it yesterday. Like I said,
fresh.
I bought it off some old guy back in December or January, right after the Drift Mansion. I went and picked it up, and I bought it off some old guy. And he thought the motor was blown up. And ended up a rocker flew off of it and went through the valve cover. Yeah.
Fuck, what the hell?
But it was a premium FRS, but it was an automatic.
Okay.
And I was like, I 5-speed swap stuff. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never even worked on an FA20 in my life. I had no idea. So I pulled the motor out, ripped it apart, rebuilt the whole motor. And, I bought a new head for it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Rebuilt the whole motor, put it in, got it running. Drove it around for about 3 days and without registering it. Because I was like, I'm just going to drive it, make sure it runs.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Drove it ran good. I was like, all right, pull the tranny out. So I ripped the tranny out and put a 6-speed in it.
Sick.
The manual FRS swaps are a little complicated.
How so?
Though they're complicated in the, like, wiring wise. When you look them up online, there's not a ton of information on it, which I really thought would have been more. Because you can pick automatic FRSs up pretty cheap usually.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants them. And manuals are really cheap for those cars. They're like $150. Like, I paid $150 for mine with like 60K on it.
Damn,
and
that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, I bought everything, bolting everything in. I actually have a YouTube video coming out on it, but it took me like a half hour.
Yeah.
I swear to you, like, it was so easy to take the automatic out and put the manual in. It was just ridiculous.
There's just is there a lot of space around the transmission?
Much.
Okay.
It's just the Subaru parts are so tiny.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Like, I literally put the tranny on my shoulder and just put it in. Like, yeah, it was. So I did the manual swap, but the biggest thing that's really confusing when you look it up online, there's no information. I dug for days and days. Was the wiring, was getting it to start, getting it to run. When I talk to people, everyone who's done the manual swap, like, rips apart the whole front of the car, like dash, wiring, and swaps everything over to manual.
Holy shit.
And I'm like, that's so much extra work. Granted, like, if you want it to be OEM, I guess, like, that's cool. Yeah. But I don't care. As long as I'm not cutting stuff up and
you
destroying
lose the dash, like the tack?
No, like, everything works. So I So I manual swapped it. Everyone's like, it ain't going to run. It ain't going to run. If it does start, it's going to be in limp mode. I'm like, I just don't see how.
Yeah.
So I did it. I put it all together. I jumped the neutral safety switch to start a car.
Mm-hmm.
I just drove it 658 miles. So it runs great. No issues. So everyone on the internet was lying.
Yeah.
And talking just hot air. It runs great. So you don't have to do all that. And everything works fine. I have a couple little quirks I'm working out, but not from that.
Mm-hmm.
When I was putting the pedals in, I didn't disconnect the battery.
Yeah.
I just didn't think about it. And when you have to drop the column out to put the pedals in.
Okay.
And when I went to go put them back in, there's this little control box. I didn't know what it was. I just unplugged it. And when I put the column back in, I had to turn the key on. When I turned the key on, something happened because when I plugged that box back in, it don't read anymore. And it's the traction control module. I don't know what I did because like all I did was plug it back in after I had the key on. I'm assuming it's something I got to take it to the dealer.
But that's
you know, if anyone hears this and they're FRS swapping, manual swapping their FRS, disconnect the battery. So be smart. Don't have to go to the dealer.
Well, yeah, when you're dealing with any type of wiring shit, I always do.
I usually do too, but I didn't think I was going to have to disconnect anything.
Yeah.
And then once I was already in there, I was just doing the job and just slipped my mind.
Dude, I'm not gonna. I fucking hate wiring.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say it till the day I die on every fucking podcast if I have to. I hate wiring.
Yeah.
Did you not ever put a wiring specialties harness in that car or anything like that?
So my caddy actually does have a wiring specialties harness. It actually has a custom one.
No shit.
I have a good friend of mine, one of my best friends, been driving with him for years, Rob. He works down at Wiring Specialties.
Sick.
And he custom built me my wiring harness because my car is weird. It's actually a Gen 3 LS.
Okay.
That's drive-by-wire. And I kept it drive-by-wire because the Cadillacs are drive-by-wire. And there's no room to put a pedal in or anything. Like, it's a hard firewall. So instead of fabricating a pedal, I was like, I'll just go drive-by-wire. And I had some cheap eBay harness on it for the first year. And I kept running into TCM problems. Like, or not TCM, TAC module problems.
Yeah.
It would just stop reading the pedal. You know, if you're driving down the road,
what in the fuck?
And I have to reset the codes. And it'd run again for another week or hour.
Yeah.
Whenever it felt like it.
How much was that harness? Like a couple $100 probably?
It was like $140,
oh,
you know?
My God.
But it was there at the time. It was like all I could get. And then, so Wiring Specialty, they actually didn't sell that harness. They don't sell a drive-by-wire Gen 3. They sell them Gen 4, but...
Yeah, but I mean, every single one of their harnesses, like you're technically customizing in itself too. So it's...
But we actually got it to wire completely in. It's actually a funny story. Rob actually drove himself out to my house and helped me put it in.
What a guy.
Yeah, I was like, man.
Shout out Wiring Specialties for that.
Like, man, you can't ask that much more than that, you know?
Yeah.
Home delivery and helped install it. Can't beat that.
Dude.
But it fired right up too. Like it actually, and I've been going on, I only did that for the first year. I've been on it ever since. So I've had no issues.
It's just so much more convenient.
And I don't have throttle body problems anymore. So it's
yeah,
the greatest
there you
thing
go.
Ever, so.
Fix the main issue.
Yeah.
But no, it's just convenient because like for me, I don't want to deal with that. And with my swap, like who the fuck's done an RB and a Z?
Yeah.
For one, which I've actually seen a couple of people that have, but they actually sold the harness. Like it was directly on the website. Like you could just go in, customize it yourself however you needed to, and boom, get it shipped to you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. But like I don't stress about it. I'm dealing with a fuck ton of other issues on this car with boost issues and like no start because the ECU is getting soaked in fucking water.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that. But like the harness wasn't damaged at all. Like nothing part of the harness has been an issue at all. And that's the worst part of any fucking build for me. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my little rant.
And my little brother, he has a LS swapped E46. And he has like the big package from Wiring Specialties with like the CAN bus module. And everything.
Yeah.
And it's
big
nuts.
boy.
I'm actually like really surprised. Like that was actually my first kind of outing with Wiring Specialties was actually my brother's car. And it's crazy. Like his traction control works. As weird as that is.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? His traction
Yeah.
control works. His whole dash works. Because, the BMW is all CAN bus and stuff like that.
Mm.
And, it converts it all over to that. And, I mean, he's been on for years.
Yeah,
now.
I've got a CAN bus module in mine, but for some reason, I don't think I have something connected right underneath the dash, but my tack doesn't work. All my other gauges work. Or maybe it's the speed sensor on the trans. I don't know. I got to figure that out. But yeah. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. It's pretty impressive. And when I did that, I was like, I'm gonna have one of those in my car. But then nobody sold that harness, and that's why I actually went with the eBay one. Was because nobody sells it.
Yeah.
So I was either gonna put a used Silverado harness in my car, or buy this eBay one.
Don't go chopping up that fucking harness.
That.
I still got an RB harness sitting in the shop in there that I'll never touch it. If anyone wants to buy it, you're more than welcome to buy it. But I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
I don't suggest you touch it either. But
yeah, it's crazy how they have it, and they have a pretty good system down there. They're doing a pretty good job with everything. So
absolutely, they're getting better at their media this year too.
I've noticed that. I actually, it's funny as it sounds, we're talking about wiring specialties. I'm actually I just got sponsored by them just a month ago.
No shit.
They reached out to me, and because again they're doing a lot of new media stuff, and they're trying to get it out there. And again, my car's obscure, and it has a wiring harness in it. So
absolutely.
And I don't have any problems with it. So I was like,
sick, dude.
Yeah. So I'll have some wiring specialty stuff plastered on the car this year. So.
Fuck yeah.
But the car hasn't really been out yet this year, so at least officially yet.
Did your S15 have it?
No.
Okay.
My S14 5 actually had a stock just LS1 Camaro harness in it for the longest time.
That's why you sold it. Damn. I get it now.
It didn't have a title. I'd have kept that car if it had a title. I got beat on the title, so.
No. Damn.
Whenever you buy a car, get the title. Don't be like, oh, I'll give it to you next week. No, they won't.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, the person I got off of.
My FC is that way, but it's antique, so I could just go to the DMV.
Well, if I knew what I knew now, then I would have titled it. Figured it out. I know how to now, but I didn't then. And that's, that was my biggest reason, was because I was having little issues with the car that I could have solved if I just drove it on the street. But, I couldn't. So I'd have to trailer it to the track. The closest track to me is 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So I'd trailer it to the track for 2.5 hours. I'd make a pass. I'd figure out what was wrong, but then I have to go buy parts.
Yeah.
And then go buy the parts. And now I got to test the new parts. And now I got to take it back out, test it again. It was just always this weird. I spent more time testing the car at the track than I did actually having fun with it. And I learned that. And
yeah, I feel that. Mine's not street legal technically, so I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, mine's not either, but
yeah,
I drive it.
We live in we risk instead of learn, but
yeah. I think as we get older, we would learn. But
nope, that was a turbo car, wasn't it?
My
the S14.
It was twin turbo. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
So I had a blower on it for a year. It had nothing but belt problems.
Really? I've seen it so much.
I had an LSA blower on it, the factory Camaro one.
Yeah.
And just would shred belts. Sometimes I get 4 or 5 laps out of a belt. Sometimes I get a lap. I get half a lap. I tried everything.
What the fuck?
I talked to so many companies, and they're like, do this, use these pulleys, do this bracket. I spent a whole year on it, and I went to a event down at Summit Point, and I had a stack of belts in my toolbox. I brought them all with me. I said, listen, if I go through all these belts today, it's gumming off. And I went through all those belts, shredded a belt, put it on the trailer with no belt on it. And my buddy drove me to the track, and so he was driving us home, and so I put it up for sale. I put the blower up for sale on Facebook, and it was gone before I got home.
Yeah,
it was literally it was gone before I got home, and so I twin turboed it. And
did that dude have the same issue that bought it?
He didn't put it on a 240, he put it on a street car.
Oh, okay.
The big thing, I don't know, it's something with the throttle feathering. You know, you're always, you know, in throttle, like
Yeah.
weird, high RPMs. So like that was when it was weird. If I drove it around, dyno, like everything was fine. It never threw a belt. It only threw it drifting.
That's crazy.
So the guy, I actually knew the guy who bought it, and he put it on like a pickup truck and had it the whole time. I knew about it.
Solid.
It was fine. And then I did twin 60-62 turbos.
Nice.
And built almost 800 horsepower. It had a 300ZX transmission behind it.
Okay.
And it was fine. I had no major issues. The only issues I really had with the car were fueling issues. The thing just took so much fuel. I ended up doing a surge tank. Because with that car, I was trying to keep the stock fuel tank in it.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't want it behind the car because everything was cut out. If I didn't have to, I didn't want to.
I don't blame you.
You know, I like the placement of the S14's gas tank and stuff, you know. And so I tried everything to not go to a sump. And then I ended up going to a sump, but still using the stock tank. And
Pressured into it.
yeah, and then it was fine. It actually was fine for a while. And then the car sat for like a whole year because like I just didn't care.
Right.
And that's when I was like, you know what? I think it's time I switched the car. I've had that for like 5 or 6 years. And
why'd you end up going twins rather than single?
Why not?
The only reason?
That was it.
Fair enough.
It was-
no argument then.
It's like I said, I like to try to do some off the wall stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Again, sometimes it's harmed me. Sometimes it's really cool, you know?
Yeah.
Like my caddy, super cool, you know? But that was really cool when it worked. It was wild, you know, shot flames everywhere. 'Cause, you know, turbos came out the bumper, wastegates out the hood. You know?
Fuck yeah.
You know, when I drove at night, it was the coolest thing ever, seeing pictures of it. You know, it looks like it's on fire.
Yep.
It was just sounded great. You know, if you want, you know, logic, you know, 2 smaller turbos for a better power curve and stuff like that. I didn't want to have any major lag. And I didn't have any. There was none. Like it pretty much like you take off and it starts building boost almost immediately. Like it was pretty crazy.
Fucking sick.
So like everything was
2,000 RPMs.
yeah, about 2,000 started building boost, and like I said, it ran almost 800 horsepower. It was like 780 or something like that.
Yeah.
On the dyno. I would say 800 because I couldn't keep the tires from spinning on the dyno. It was a roller. I should have got a hub dyno or something, but on the roller I couldn't keep traction. It just kept spinning. Yeah. I had like 10 people sitting in the trunk and stuff. I still couldn't get it to stop spinning. And he refused. The guy I was running the dyno from refused to put anything on the tires. And he didn't want to dirty his dyno, which I get.
Yeah,
but
understandable.
Would have really helped, you know?
Absolutely.
But so I would say about 800 horsepower. So
okay. A lot of people will say that like the twin turbo setup is easier to like make work and like put in the car rather than a single turbo. Do you think that? Because to me,
No.
I don't fucking see how. You're doing twice the work.
Yeah, that's what I tell most people. It's twice as much work. You know, every part you have is 2 of them.
Okay. Yeah.
You know,
I've
the
never
radiator
understood
in the
that.
trunk, which helped. The radiators in the front, I don't actually think it'd be possible. You know, because I put them down low, like in front of the motor. So I could put the exhaust right out the bumper. So the exhaust pretty much was like straight out.
Did you use like the factory headers and everything?
No, I made a set of forward-facing headers that fit the car. And I made everything from scratch. I mean, literally every inch of it. That's one thing I try to do is I try to just build as much as I can. Like I said, I enjoy it. So it's like a lot of people want to get out there to the track and drive. And I'm like, I get that. There's a big part of it, but there's a whole nother part that you can enjoy.
Absolutely.
I do enjoy that part. So,
yeah. Okay, so the S14.5. Why did you say you ended up getting rid of that?
Because I was just tired of not being able to test it. Like before.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
I was just really tired of testing it at the track. You know, you show it with this wild car. You know, everyone's all excited to go drive it or get in it or watch you, and you're like, I make one pass and load it back on the trailer.
I'm literally there right now.
Yeah, it was just.
I'm sorry if you have come up and I couldn't give you a ride along.
And I've been that way, and I did that for a lot, like almost an entire year, almost, where I was like going to these events, paying for them, and showing up and making a lap.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that sucks. Most of my problems that final year was fuel related problems, just getting the motor to get enough fuel in drift,
That's so crazy.
And I was fighting with it, and I should have just did the full fuel system. And I was just, I like to try things. I like to try to solve a problem before, spending money on it. I like to try, there's gotta be a reason, a way to fix this. And I tried a bunch of different stuff, and
I'm just a stickler. I don't like to spend money.
We're all trying to do this on a budget. I don't make $1 million, and I was trying to do everything I could, and I ended up finally just doing a surge tank and all that other stuff, and then it all worked. And I was fine, but I had to do that.
Yeah,
the motor just being twin turbo just needed so much fuel and drift. Nothing in tank could do it. I just could not get it. It'd be fine if I was in a straight line. Like if I take off, it'd be great. I'd enter, and you'd make it 30 feet. It starts breaking up or something.
Oh, God, that's annoying.
And it would do it every time. There was actually a couple events where I just powered through it. It made enough power that it could break up, and I was just like, if it blows up, it's whatever at this point. I just want to drive,
Oh, yeah.
So there was actually a whole event that year I drove, it was just breaking up and spitting, sputtering, and I just
beating the piss out of it anyways.
Didn't care at all. I was
you're either gonna blow up or you're gonna run, bitch.
And I did it, and it didn't blow up. But yeah, so that's why I really got rid of it. I wanted something I could test on the street.
Yeah. Before spending so much money to test.
Yeah, and I never expected the Caddy to become that. But
no, you said there was a break in between, right? So how long of a time frame was it between the S15 being gone or the S14 being gone and ending up in the Caddy and actually driving?
Years. About
2.5
years. Yeah. And
did you feel like you forgot how to drift in that time to a certain extent?
So I'll be honest, I don't know if there's anybody else on the planet like this, but I forget how to drift until I'm there.
Dude, I feel that.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
I don't even know if it's like me forgetting what I'm doing. It's just there's something about it's not even nerves either. I'm not nervous. I'm excited as fuck, but it's over excitement to where I can't sit the fuck still.
Yeah. I remember, so I competed in my car for the first time, not last year, but the end of the year prior. And I was at Drift Indy Street League. And I was like, this will be perfect. I have a street car, full interior, let's go do it. So I went out, and sure enough, everyone loved the car and, loved my driving and stuff. But Drift Indy's got the best drivers on this side of the country. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Absolutely.
They're
I'm trying to make it to the No Star Bash this year.
Yeah, I'm actually going to try to make that too. I tried last year. The tickets sell out so fast, so you got to be ready and start hitting the button. That's actually how I missed the last event, Drift Indy event, was because I didn't get my ticket in time. I was so mad. But I missed it last year because of that.
Yeah.
But I plan to go this year. I'm going to set every alarm I can. I'm going to get it. So I hope
I'm off all day that day.
Yeah.
I'm figuring it out.
But when I went there, that's when I kind of started to want to compete with it. But yeah, so I'm sitting in line, and there's a lot of competition. I don't know what it was, but there was 50 drivers qualifying for this for these spots. And the line was going around the track, down into the pits. It was crazy. And I was when they start calling up qualifying, I was nervous. And I'm already oh my God, let me not be first. Let me not be first, but I definitely can't be last in qualifying. So by the time I got up, I was the 25th car. So I'm watching 20 drivers go. And I'm literally sitting there, and I'm not even lying. I'm sitting there, and I'm in my head, I'm oh no, I forgot how to drive. And I'm sitting there in the car, and I'm what do I do?
Wait, do I clutch? And
I'm thinking the timing in my head. I'm timing of hitting it. I'm I've done this track 500 times this weekend, and I'm I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna have to just send it and see what happens. And yeah, once I got up there, I was online. It kind of calmed down, but I messed up my first lap a little bit because the nerves got me. Oh my Lord.
Absolutely.
As I tell most people, I'm just bad with the nerves when it comes to that kind of stuff. I've gotten better.
Yeah.
But that was the first event that year doing that. I've never been to that track
First
before.
like comp style event.
Yeah. And I was just really nervous, and everyone there was super friendly. And they still are. I mean, the guys who run that event, they're very direct and straight to the point, but they're nice. They're awesome people. You know, when my car broke last year in qualify, like right before qualifying, you know, I had the people running the event, like egging them, like messaging me, make sure I'm okay. Like, what happened? You know what I mean? Are you good? You know, because they didn't see my car, you know, so they wanted to make sure, like, what events do that? You know what I mean? Like, who's trying to reach out and make sure a driver's okay? You know what I mean? Like, that's awesome, you know, and I really appreciated that. Like, it makes you feel like you're a part of, you know, everything going on. And I love their events. I try to go as much as possible. Like I said, I missed this past event because the tickets sold out. I was like, crap. And, but they're traveling all over this year with Drift Indy, so I'm trying to go to US Air. Yeah. Oh, I've always wanted to go to US Air.
That's why I want to be at the No Star Bash, because it's at US Air this year.
So is a Drift Indy event. So I'm trying to make it to that. And actually, if it's No Star, I'm going to do both then. Yeah. But I've always wanted to go to that track, and it's just everything about Drift Indy I love. Like, I love stylish cars. Like, it's clean cars first and foremost. Like, it's just such a different experience.
Oh, yeah. So, actually, right now, they're at the Drift Appalachia event. Which,
yeah, I've been watching them all weekend.
Oh, my God. I've got to drive one of those events.
Edgar's been posting videos all weekend. I'm just like, oh, my God. There's been a couple accidents, so not this weekend that I know of, but, like, previously. And, like, it's scary. Like, it definitely is sketchy. So, like, I'm definitely excited.
I understand why they keep it so secluded and, like, to specific drivers, invite only, all that.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
Yeah, no question there at all. Not even part of it. Completely agree with how they do it. You know, that needs to be as closed as possible, in my opinion. Like, because like, I forget who it was, but they rolled their car last year. I don't know if you knew, it was the black Supra. Actually rolled it. I think it was stage 1 or 2. I think it was stage 1, but he rolled it. Went up on the embankment, rolled it on the side.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, that right there kind of like put it on, like, this is real. Like, that's real
set
stuff
the precedent
going on.
For it real quick.
I was like, crap. And
well, speaking of those events, you said, like, with the the first Drift Indy comp event you did, do you kind of see yourself leaning more towards the comp stuff now rather than the funner event?
So, not really. Now I enjoy that side of drifting. There's always going to be a competitive side to it. I enjoy testing myself, pushing limits. Yeah. It's different because, like, when I go to, like, a party event, I'm just there to throw down, you know, drive with my friends, and drive hard. You know, at those events, I'm, you know, trying to make sure you're pinpoint putting your car where it needs to go and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's like a completely different experience. And so, in my opinion, at least right now, I prefer partying. It just feels like that's what drifting was made for, man.
Absolutely.
I just feel like it's what
a rolling car show, dog.
Yeah. And it's like, and that's one thing I love about Drift Indies. Even though it's a comp event, like, there's a respect there. Yeah. Like, you show up, the cars are good. You see these people are putting so much time, money, energy, blood, sweat, everything into these cars. They're not clapped out E36s. Yeah. You know, they're legit cars. So when I got this guy on my door chasing me, I have to make sure I'm on point because, like, his car's, he's got money in his car. He's got work in his car. Like, I'm not trying to mess that car's dog.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, so it's like a respect everybody has, you know? It's not like all the E46s and stuff bouncing off each other. Yeah. You know, because it's fun.
And they see a shiny car and they still don't give a fuck. Yeah. Boing, boing, boing.
Well, most events I go to, the biggest issue I have is people don't want to get too close to me. Because, like, I don't want to hurt your car. I'm like, it's fine. It's a base model. You know? Like, it's okay. Hit it. I got a couple people.
They're a dime a dozen. Go for it.
It's just a door. Like, I'll just replace it. But that respect is just super awesome. And I love that part of it. Like, it's just such an experience. It just... You know, they kind of get a lot of shit for, you know, being that way. I don't care.
Fuck that. That's just because you can't afford to make your car that cool.
It's just people on Facebook. People talk, you know. Grow up. I don't believe in any of that. I think it's awesome. I love what they do. It's just everything about it. So, going to those Drift Indy events made me want to go to more events like that, you know? Makes me want to see more cars like that.
Yeah.
That was actually one like going to the mansion.
So you don't see yourself ever like aspiring to go to Formula Drift or anything like that?
No. With the S14, I kind of wanted to go like grassroots stuff. That was back when like MDU and stuff was there. Like shootouts and stuff. Yeah. Like I kind of wanted to do that a little bit. Like it was kind of entertaining to do that. But again, with like car problems, so I just couldn't do it.
Nah, I don't blame you.
And I did a couple small things, but like that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
So it's just not for me. I'm there to party.
Kiss, baby. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yup. Yeah. It's just been so much fun not worrying about that and just having fun. So.
Oh yeah. Actually, speaking of that, on the sorry to cut you off, but the Cadillac, if you were to, I guess, redo that from a bone stock car that whatever is just completely bone stock, and you wanted to make a simple seat time car out of it, what would you put on it from, like, say, of course, Njuku's here so we can use them? Go on Njuku. What are you buying to get that car to the first like track day as a good decent setup?
So honestly, if somebody wanted a CTS, they bought like a CTSV because they're getting pretty cheap now.
Not like for beginners either. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Like just anyone that like just aspires to have that car.
Coilovers and knuckles. Honestly, you'll throw down. It's got horsepower.
That's it.
They come factory with a either a 5.7 or a 6.0 T56 and welded diff.
Okay, that was about to say.
There's a couple
good
people.
Enough LSD.
Well, there's a couple people who I know who still use the factory LSD.
That's wild.
And I think it's wild. Yeah. I would never do it. I wouldn't
There was
trust
a Z out at Riverside this past weekend. I swear to God, he had an LSD, and it looked like it was a pain to watch.
It's inconsistent.
Yeah,
you know. So welded diff, good set of coilovers. I highly suggest BCs.
Absolutely, got them right here, dog.
Not just for that. Like I actually I custom built my BCs.
This too?
Yeah,
this fucking display.
They are beautiful.
This thing is so sick. Shout out to you, Cody. I really appreciate you.
That was the first thing I seen when I walked in here.
It's the first episode with it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts. I saw one at Nate Hamilton's shop, and I was like, bro, I've got to have one. That's so cool.
I had BC Racing make me a set of coils for that car. They sell them off the shelf.
Yeah.
But the one thing I did with mine is I got true rear coils.
Nice.
And I changed the spring rate on my car quite a bit. I'm actually changing it again because I've been playing with spring rates and stuff. Mm-hmm. Every coilover off the shelf that I've seen has super low spring rates for these cars.
Street car shit.
They're so heavy though. You can't put like a 12K spring on this car. You know, like I had K Sports on my car and they literally came with, I believe 10, 12Ks. So if the coilovers, you get coilovers, get stiffer springs. Mm-hmm. Especially with drifting, it's just so heavy.
So what spring rate do you suggest then?
So I run, so currently this year I'm going to 20K fronts. I have 18 on last year in the front.
That's wild.
And yes, but it's heavy.
I know, it's just like 20K is crazy.
I know. And that's what my process was.
Yeah.
When I first built a car, I was like, oh, 10, 12K, that's fine for the car. Or it's like 10, 8K.
Yeah, it's usually like maybe I'll push it to 16.
Yeah.
But
and then I'm going to 14K in the back. It has
what the fuck?
It has 10K on it right now. And it's way too soft. The car digs really hard. That's why I'm having some little issues with the axles. It digs really hard. So I need to stiffen the rear end up. But honestly, like my first year drifting, like I said, that first event that was bone stock.
Yeah.
All I did was knuckles and like I drove the whole year. I mean, I got videos of me at Erie with 20 cars on track, tandeming and a bone stock CTSV basically with knuckles. Yeah. And it was great. You know, the only issue they have, like I said, is some grip issues. So if you learn to go around it, basically just send it harder. You're fine.
Go faster, but
go faster. It's literally how it worked. I was just driving too slow, because the car wanted to just wash out,
Oh yeah. Okay.
And, only sideways though. So like I I would take off from everybody, like from the line, and then like I'd enter before everybody, like way ahead of everybody, and they just catch right up. The car would just drag so much.
That's annoying.
Yeah, it was super annoying.
Yeah.
So the first year, I was struggling with that, like with tandems. If I was solo driving, it was like you never even noticed it. But in tandem, especially if I started tandeming with like a fully built car, like you really start to see the grip level difference. You don't so much anymore. So, just that's a lot of tweaking. So,
okay. Well, damn.
But honestly, I love those cars. I'm actually building one for my wife, but it's a V6.
Nice.
A little slower. So I think they're sweet cars. I wish more people would drive them. Like I think they're sweet. So
do you think they'll? I mean, because they're still relatively expensive for what the car is compared to what you could get. Like, I mean, like it's what year again?
Mine's an 07.
07.
So
So
it's the
probably
same one
like
from 03 to 07. It's the same body style.
So if you were to buy one that's like running and driving, decent condition, it'd be what, 10 grand or so?
So you're actually like, if it was like really nice, you'll spend 10 to 14 or so.
Dude, that's crazy. You can buy an S550 for 15 grand on Copart.
But honestly, you could find, I mean, weird to say, but like not even like fully clapped out or anything, but like just some like high mileage ones you can usually get for like $6,000-$7,000. And it's a V8 car, T56.
You see them probably becoming more commonly used as like they get seen driving.
As long as they don't all end up in the junkyards, like if not, like
I mean, we'll never be able to guarantee that. Yeah, we're fucking slobs in the junk.
But I'd love to see more of them. I've been trying more than anything to try to get with one of the other drivers. Like even once, like we tried last year and it was a whole deal. We ended up not being able to do it. But there are a couple of us out there. I mean, there's maybe a dozen. So
damn, that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's such a good car. It looks so good. I love sedans, so I just got a soft spot for stuff like that. But have you seen how much they would be on like Copart?
I've never checked. I've never really checked. I don't really need one, have one. So
well, I don't know. I don't remember your name, but you commented, whoever it was, about the G35 video. That's what it was. That you can get prices on Copart. So let me know how much those go for. I'm curious, and if it's cheap enough, DM me, because that would be kind of cool. Yeah. Even if it's just for a daily. Fuck.
They're a sweet daily. Mine's not so much anymore, but it's kind of obnoxious now. But
yeah, of course,
it's almost not street car. But
yeah, I dude, honestly, I just kind of miss driving a manual around. Like, I don't even care if it's fast. Yeah. Like, just shifting gears and having control over the car.
Yeah.
It gets annoying driving a truck around every fucking day. But, you know.
Oh, whatever. I get that. It's built the FRS.
Did you you just still run pump gas on the CTS, right?
Yeah. Okay. It's just 93.
So do you ever plan on going E?
So as funny as it sounds, the car's actually fully set up for E. It's got a
mine is two other than injectors. That's it.
So mine actually has injectors, everything. It was my fault. When my buddy built my wiring harness, I didn't know he could add the E85 into the harness. I didn't even ask him. So we put the harness in, and he's like looking at my flex fuel sensor, and he's like, "Hey, why didn't you tell me that was on here?" I was like, "I didn't know."
Yeah.
So like, we plan to add it in. I was planning at some point taking the harness out and having him add it in. It's just we haven't got around to it. So my car actually is fully set up on E.
Is it still on stock ECU?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that's why you got to add it into the harness.
Yes. So it's actually fully tuned for it and everything. Because the motor actually came out of my old truck. As funny as that sounds, I had a built race truck.
Yeah.
And that's where that motor originally came out of, and it was on E. So the tune is on E. Everything's on E. It's just I just got to plug it in, and it would just be right on it.
See, I haven't done it just for the simple fact of like, I don't want to deal with E85 issues because with the turbo stuff, it causes a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, yeah, I may get a couple degrees cooler and temps and all that, but like I'm dealing with so much other issues. The last thing I want to deal with is the 85 issues.
That was kind of mine too.
So it's like, but you know,
I do love the way it smells.
Oh yeah,
I love the way E85 smells,
dude. And like Renegade, they just came on this year, so their shit literally smells like great. Like Scott, he runs their E85 in his car. It's best smelling fucking fuel I've ever smelt in my entire life.
No.
I don't know what the hell it is about it. Have you ever heard of Renegade?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay.
So
So primarily in the drag world, of
Yeah.
course. So, but trying to yank him over into the drift world a little bit because I feel like it'd be more. I don't know if it'd be more fitting actually.
Oh, I kind of do.
I don't know. The scent stuff. I feel like drift guys would appreciate that more than drag guys.
I don't know. If I see like a bright
might be
purple
wrong.
car and like I walked over to it and it's running and it smells like grapes, you know?
That's literally going to be my car.
I'd be in it. I'd be so excited. Like it'd be wild.
Dude, it's kind of like, because you know how they'll put, like, they'll put dye in your gas to, like, show different colors and stuff. The E is blue, but the 93 that I have, because they have all pump gas all the way up to your crazy race gas and stuff like that. It's wild. Most companies, I don't even think, sell 93 and below.
Yeah, I thought that's weird.
They told me that, and I was like, dude, what? I need a barrel of that shit for the year. So I got me a 55-gallon drum in the shop of the 93, and it's like Kool-Aid red. It looks, this sounds weird, but it looks very appealing. And then you smell it, and you're like,
it smells appealing.
That smells appealing too. Is this even gas? So, yeah, that's my weird, what is that? Like a quirk? That's not a quirk. What am I trying to say? Anyways, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they, on top of that, they have the fucking scent boosters and shit as well. So you can, if you want a little extra, you want a little stronger, make sure they smell you across track and shit over the tire smoke.
I feel like that'd be amazing. It'd be extremely entertaining. So
yeah,
if I was a spectator and cars started smelling fruity, that would have been.
It's a little trippy though. Their oil is blue and my coolant's blue too.
That's weird.
So it's a little tricky trying to figure out what's leaking and what's not. But but yeah,
different colors.
Renegade. Yeah, if you haven't heard of Renegade, they're new in the drifting world and stuff. But yeah, check them out. They got oils and stuff, scent boosters. They got your 5-gallon fuel jugs and all that stuff too. So yeah, and they match my car. They're fucking purple. So but yeah. So other than the car stuff, I wanted to also bring up what RPM is. RMP, sorry.
Yeah.
I just butchered the fuck out of that. What is RMP exactly? If you were explaining it to someone that has no fucking clue.
So it's mostly just like me. I have a shop and it's kind of, I've been like working for myself for pretty much my entire life.
Nice.
And I came up with that when I was like 17.
Oh, no.
And
Hell yeah.
it kind of just stuck. I've just used it ever since.
Yeah.
So
that's
like,
good.
I mean, my YouTube
overthinking
channel,
the name is just pointless.
It's just RMP. It's just how it is.
What does it stand for exactly?
So I would say it's racing and motor performance.
Okay.
But like I said, it's just always RMP. But that's just what it is. It's my shop, but like, I just also use it for my drifting and stuff like that because it's just
absolutely
my name. So it's just what it is. So it's usually what's plastered on my cars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
now, is it like, do you do public work?
Yeah.
At all?
I mostly just do maintenance and stuff like that. I do some building. Mostly got out of it. I just couldn't do the money thing. Like it's just not enough money versus time. And I really struggled with that. And it was to the point like I just couldn't make money off of it. But make money off just doing normal maintenance and stuff. So that's mostly what I do now. So
that's good.
I'm in Pennsylvania, so we do a lot of rust repair and stuff. So I do a lot of
brake jobs.
Yeah, I do a lot of rust and I do paint work a lot now and stuff like that.
Really?
So, yeah. Pretty much when I was a kid, I wanted to build a car. And I was really poor growing up, like super poor. Mm-hmm. And so building a car, especially like a hot rod or something, is like, I have $5.
Yeah, it's beyond your even thought process. Yeah.
So my whole thought was, well, if I can't buy it, I'll build it, or I'll do it, So I was always building cars when I was growing up, mostly 240s. And then they were always ugly, super ugly, multiple different colors or just, rattle canned them, duplicolor, 20 cans of paint, that type of thing.
Gross.
Yeah. And it got to the point, I was actually with my S14 and one of my best friends, Jesse, ended up painting that car. And we ended up trading a bunch of stuff, wheel and deal. And he painted that car. And after that, I was like, I did a bunch of damage to it. And I was like, he gave me the paint. I was like, yeah, I can figure this out, and it just went from there. So I started doing that. And then I ended up just so happened, started getting into the business.
Painting's a lot easier than people make it out to be.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
The variables.
The painting part, like the actual process of painting.
But the amount of variables that are involved with paint work are where it's at. Is where the difficulty really, really lies.
Getting the gun set up was the most complicated part.
Yeah, but even when it comes to painting a car, all you gotta do is flick your wrist incorrectly and you're having problems. You're having a bad day.
Yeah.
So it's like that real fine line.
Yeah.
And it's just that real fine line of it's not, I don't want to say it's hard. It is hard to perfect. Anyone could just take a gun and just spray it, but to perfect it, it's very difficult. Yeah. It took me a while, but I did figure it out. And now I actually paint cars for a living, so it's
that's crazy.
What I do the most of is actually painting nowadays.
Let me guess. YouTube University?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Fucking right, son.
Pretty much. I just watched a lot of videos and just practice. A lot of it was practice.
Let me tell you something. College is a scam.
100%.
Don't go to college. I didn't say that.
I tell everybody that.
A U.S. government official, I did not say that.
I did. I ain't afraid. I did.
I'm just kidding. I don't give a fuck. College is straight up a scam. Don't go. If you're contemplating it, especially for sorry, this is so off topic, but if for doctors, I understand you have to go to college, but for one, doctors are the biggest scam salesman ever anyways.
Amen.
But you're going to have to go back because your degree is going to be useless in 6 years when some new study goes out and you have to relearn everything. Don't go to college, especially if you're in cars and stuff. Yeah. You're overworking college and you're going to go and you're going to be in debt and then you're going to get a job that doesn't even relate to your degree. Moving on. Sorry.
No, I 100% agree with you. I pretty much taught myself everything I know is what it is. And even working on cars, everything I know, I learned. I just trial and error. It's just all I could do.
Working on cars, making seats for Nissan, framing houses, drywall, fucking body work,
now that I got
painting
houses,
cars.
Yeah, I'm always doing that kind of work. But yeah, I pretty much taught myself how to do everything as just this need to do it. You know? Because I wanted a nice car, I wanted this or I wanted that, so I just figured it out. I don't know everything, but
become self-sufficient or die.
Yeah. But I love learning, so just the learning curve and that part is always
I agree with that a lot. My brain don't shut off, so I'm all in on that.
Yeah, I'm always trying to learn something new. And that's my goal was always to be able to, if I had a bare shell, I could turn it into a complete car, complete painted bodywork, engine, tranny, wiring. I want to be able to do everything, at least to a degree. Yeah. I can do that. So
hell yeah, that's sick.
It's been pretty good.
Well, now you got a whole business wrapped around it too. So
I mean, I've worked for myself my entire life.
Yeah.
I flipped pizzas when I was a kid. That was it. So
fucking sick.
Even business wise, everything's had to be a learning curve. You gotta learn sometimes.
Okay, then let me ask you this because this doesn't it relates to drifting, but it kind of doesn't. Since you have been one of those people that more or less has fallen the lines of working for themselves and all of that, what is your advice to people that wouldn't have the first clue about it? Say they have parents that are they're working for fucking Dollar General corporate or whatever, Walmart corporate. They're just corporate parents and they're you go to college, you get your degree, you go into your industry, you fucking do your job, whatever, piss your life away. And that's what that sounds like to me.
Yeah.
What is your advice to someone that is trying to get out of that circumstance and into working for themselves and making it feasible?
So, my wife came from that kind of family. Her parents were real big on going to college and getting a job and, just that normal,
Shout out to my parents. Y'all weren't that way.
I never understood why she was the way she was with that kind. She was always struggling. Like, I have to get this job. I got to dress this way. I got to do this and that. I'm like, I'm trying to go like to a drift event and sleep in a
Which
tent,
to an extent, like that's good habits, like 100%.
To a point.
Like make yourself like presentable in certain scenarios and stuff like that. Like all of that I get.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What I mean is like the way I get from corporate, like the corporate lifestyle is you live for like that vacation once a year. You live for retirement. You know, when I'm 65, man, my back hurts now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be doing what I'm doing now when I'm 65, you know? And since why, like, I always talk to like my wife about it because it's like she deals with that. She still struggles with that. Because like I live for today and like with
Didn't
kids,
they try and sell you on 401ks and shit?
all the time.
Go invest yourself.
Yeah.
Figure it out yourself.
The biggest thing I always hear from family members is like, we don't actually have real jobs.
Yeah.
You know, I always hear that a lot.
Just over broke. That's what job stands for, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck a job. Go work for yourself.
Yeah. And it's not easy to work for yourself. I definitely believe that there's, as controversial as this might sound, you might agree to it. Like if you listen to it.
I probably will.
I think if you work for yourself, you're mildly psychotic.
Yeah.
Because there takes an amount of stress that you have to be able to handle. And I thought that most people could handle that kind of stress. But as I've gotten older, I realized that kind of stress isn't for most people.
Oh, yeah, no. And like when I realize it is when I find myself in conversations with people that are like stressed over minor stuff. And I'm like, it may have sound arrogant as fuck too in the moment. Like, why don't you just fucking look that way? Don't pay any attention to move on with your fucking life. Like, what do you mean?
But in the words
like people get fucking fed up, and then you tell them that, and they're like even more fed up, and it's like, what the fuck?
But in the sense of don't talk about the government, you know, they train us that way. You know, they schooling is training that for that lifestyle, that thought process.
I'm glad drifting has kind of a free mind type deal. Everyone I meet is like either fuck politics and all that stuff, or they're like, fuck the government, I'm gonna fuck them over so hard this year. The drifting is my life. You're gonna pay for my drifting.
Yeah,
that's the way I think to the government.
But I learned early on I didn't want to live for my retirement. I want to live today.
Yeah,
you know, I consider drifting my vacation, even though it's the most stressful thing on this planet most times. You know, I go drifting all the time.
Sick and twisted truth.
It really is, you know. You know, you're rushing to get to those events, and you know, I don't know about you, but you know, I'm always packing the morning of or the night before, and
still somehow always running late the next morning too. Like, how the fuck does that happen?
I've never figured it out. Can never seem to like be early.
Impossible.
Yeah, I just think it's just a drifting thing. But yeah, I hate that whole living for that vacation time and stuff. And if I want to go on vacation, I'm just going to go, you know.
Absolutely.
If I don't have the money, I'll figure it out, you know. And that's the whole point of working for yourself, you know. If you want to go do something, well, then you got to work for it. So you go do the work you need to do. That's just kind of always been, you know.
Absolutely.
And I mean, working for myself has gotten me to build cars and drift and enjoy life, you know. I just
a lot more things
hours.
Than you corporate motherfuckers have been able to do.
You know, most people probably wouldn't have just got in their car and drove 10 hours, you know.
No, can't.
But
dude, yeah, I take now that I work for myself, I take opportunities on a whim that like I would have never in my life even have been able to think that I might be able to. No. It's just nuts. And like I make way less money now, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was telling you too. Like, I don't make a whole lot of money. Yeah, I'm super financially
I don't
unstable.
make shit from this, really. Yeah, everything just gets dumped right back into it.
I'm super financially unstable when it comes to that kind of stuff, you know. But it's like, I mean, drifting. It's just I love drifting, so I do whatever I need to do. When it's summertime, I want to drift.
Yeah.
if it wasn't for my kids, I'd live in a little cabin and, you know, with a
Don't go
car.
off the deep end financially. That's not the advice we're giving.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
And don't take a loan out for a car.
Yeah.
Definitely
yeah.
don't do that.
Fucking Alex.
I know. I watched that.
Dude, when he said that, I was like, bro, that's not real.
So, funny story real quick. So, about him.
Yeah.
So, at the Drift Mansion, I was with him.
Yeah.
We shared a room. And he said that, so I was asleep. You know, I got to sleep early. So, I'm asleep. And they're out partying. And he didn't know where his room was at. He never came down yet. And so we didn't know who was taking the third bed.
Mm-hmm.
And so me and my brother went to sleep in the bed together, you know, two big dudes cuddling in the truck.
Burgling it up, dog.
And he said that, like, they walked in and we're just growling. He said they
Two big old grizzly bears.
He said they walked right back. They found a room upstairs. I was like, I don't even blame you, man.
I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah. I was like, it's probably a good thing. But that was
Dude,
was so
Scott's
funny.
that way too.
Yeah.
He snores like a fucking grizzly bear.
Yeah, that just is what it is sometimes. The
That's so funny.
but it was just so funny because, like, we didn't know who was in there. Like, we came up. It was like when we came downstairs, there was baggage next to the bed.
Yeah.
So, oh, somebody's there. We didn't know
Right.
whose baggage it was. And, like, there's no list of who's in what room. And I'd met the other couple already. And they were fine. We already let them know they snore. They're like, yeah, we snore too. So we're all
solid.
good, you know? Like, yeah, let's all snore together. And then, I don't know. He must have walked into that room and had just been like, hands up. Like, nope, this ain't it for me. And walked out like that. It was I could only imagine. Because he told us the next day. It was just so funny.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Holy shit. Okay.
But me and my brother didn't have to share the same bed the next night, though. So we got to have separate
Cheers
beds.
to that.
Yeah.
Oh, so at least something good came out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess on the note of the whole working for yourself thing, what is your goal with your business? Where do you want RMP to be eventually?
The only thing I really like, that's actually something I think about a lot lately. My biggest thing is not necessarily retirement, but starting to get the business in the point of self-sufficient. Like, I don't have to be there all the time.
Yeah.
I don't have to actually be so much hands-on. I can be more running the business instead of like an employee.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, because right now, like, it's the most difficult thing on the planet. You know, I don't have a secretary. I don't have anything. So, like, I answer the phones. I'm answering emails. I'm working on cars. I have, you know, two mechanics, but, like, I do the big stuff. So, like, I'm the guy painting cars. I'm the guy doing engine work, you know, stuff like that. It's just really difficult. So my goal for, like, the next, like, 5 years or so is to start focusing on getting it more self-sufficient. Where I'm at now.
I said it before the podcast. You gotta I'm trying to find the ways to work on the business rather than in it.
Yeah.
That's the way.
And it's not easy. I don't know because, like, I don't know. It's just figuring it out. That's just how I live. I just figure it out. And that's what I'm trying to figure out is how do I get to that point?
Yeah.
And that's my goal. So my goal is to kind of get the shop self-sufficient. So, like, I can kind of focus on other things. And just keep the shop growing. So I have a really nice spot. It's in a really good position. And I actually right now, like, it's funny, I actually live at my shop. There's a full house attached to
shit.
it. Yeah, it's
I fucking wish I had that, dude. That's so cool.
It has its ups and downs. A privacy thing is a little bit of an issue when it comes to that.
Right.
Because I don't hide it, you know. I tell everybody I'm proud of it. I love it, you know. Yeah. It was a dream of mine. You know, when I was a kid, like, can I live at a garage? Like, can I live? Yeah. Like, I have like a 3-bedroom house, like in my building. So it's not like I'm just like living under a lift or something.
Right. Yeah.
But
it's not those memes you see where it's like the BMW oil spill spot.
Yeah. Like, it's like separated, but it's in the same building. So, like, that's little things that, like, living there, like, there's a little issues I'm dealing with. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy with where I'm at and stuff. It's just, I guess, just keep
that's
going,
awesome.
You know? But yeah, that's pretty much where I want to go with that. I'm not in this big grandeur thing where I'm like, I want to be, you know, the greatest job on the planet, or I want to be a millionaire or anything.
Dreams where you make it, dog.
Well, I used to be that way. Like before I had kids and stuff, I was like, I always want to be this, big shop. I want to be, a millionaire. Everyone did when they were kids. I was poor. I wanted just, $5 was a million.
I want to just be able to do what I want.
Yeah, and I started to realize over the last couple of years, specifically, like that's not. You don't need that. Peace, calm, happiness, like. That's all worth more to me than money all day long. I tell people all the time, I don't even, like, money isn't real to me. It's just paper. Like, it's not real.
I mean, in today's age, it means nothing.
Yeah.
It's not backed by shit.
But, like, I don't focus on the money aspect of things. I focus on, like, what is calming and happy. Mm-hmm. And, like, that's what I focus on. So, like, that's
awesome.
Motivation. My motivation is that. So. And it wasn't. My motivation used to always be work 1,000 hours a week, got to make this
grind
money.
It out.
Yeah, you got to make this money. You got to make this money. And it's so terrible. I tell everyone, like, stop focusing on money so much. Money will come. It literally always will.
Yeah.
Just focus on being happy. Because
actually, I didn't even say that. Don't focus on being happy. If you continuously focus on trying to be happy, you will never be happy.
Yes, I do agree with that.
You got to be able to just understand that happiness technically doesn't exist. You just find the good and the bad in situations that happen.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
But
the calming part is kind of like what just makes me happy. So to me, like that's what it does for me. So
it's like false advertisement to me.
Yeah. No, I agree. But yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Yeah, dude. The FRS though, is that gonna have any major plans for that? Before
so not right this second. I really want to just try to like make it a little seat time car. Okay. So I'm probably gonna do knuckles and some sort of something there.
They're such a good chassis. So I didn't know if like you had some major plans for it to be some crazy car or whatever.
As funny as it sounds, like my old FRS that I sold to help fund this one. I took all the parts off of it. Mm-hmm. So like it had a full V8 in it already and all kinds of stuff.
Oh shit.
And I have everything.
Yeah.
So when this motor kicks the bucket or I get tired of it, it's going to get an LS. I've actually already been talking with Rob about getting a harness just so I have it ready to go.
Wiring Specialties on deck, baby.
They have one
that know it.
Has the same like CAN bus style setups. Like everything works.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going through Wiring Specialties for that. And
well, if you do it soon, there's 10% off for you.
Pretty much it. I'm gonna paint it. It's red. I want to keep it red, but I just put the
better red.
Yeah. And get it all cleaned up. But that's pretty much it. I just want to make it a really nice seat time car. Mm-hmm. My Caddy eats tires.
Sure. Weight.
I go through like I said, at the summer mats events, I'll go through like a dozen to 14 tires.
Ooh.
And it's like, with how expensive tires cost now, like it's just so difficult. And I love to be able to go to some of the smaller events and just throw down on a set of tires that, aren't going to disappear in 5 seconds.
Especially being on Kendas. You want those to last long. That's what they're made for.
Yeah. Well, they do last. They last a lot longer than any tire I've used before. It's just... And I've talked to a couple other people, and it's more of a driver issue versus a tire issue. When I drive, I'm driving hard.
Yeah.
I don't have an off switch. When I'm on the track, I'm driving. I want to drive as hard as I can.
Yeah, I'm not like LZ in his fucking Brazil video that he was, I got to conserve tire, like mid-drift. He's fucking flying down this hill, this mountain. And he's like, I got to conserve tires right here. And he's just like, bat. And then the next turn, it's,
yeah,
fucking spitting on it. I'm like, how do you control yourself?
I can't.
Nope.
And that's what everyone's like. People talk about it all the time. There's been, talks about it. And they're like, you just, as a driver, you just got to just stop doing that. You don't need that much angle. You don't need as much tire smoke. You don't need that wheel speed. And I'm like, how can I go faster? How can I get more tire smoke? Like, I'm so it's my fault. I get it.
Oh, dude, at like mid-pond, because it tracks that you can just keep going. It's just nonstop. There's no getting off and then waiting in line and all that. It's just hot laps. Dude, I have to literally, before I go out, I'm like, I'll look at my girlfriend and be like, if I go around more than 3 times, scream at me. Tell me to stop or I won't.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll just keep pegging the fucking temp gauge. I don't care.
I do the same thing. My car will literally be overheating, and I have it in the tune to like shut off all power. Like it pulls
Go
all
into lit
timing
mode.
at like 250 degrees. And like that's my limit. Like it shuts the car off for me. Like I can't even argue with it. Like I'll just lose all
Cut
power.
off, bitch.
And I've actually fought it before. Like it was sitting there like pegging 250. It has no power because it like pulls all timing.
Yeah.
And I'm just clutch kicking. I'm just beating the clutch. I'm like, I gotta get it. You know, because like it happened once. I was
Gonna finish this corner.
you know, when you got people chasing you and stuff, it's like you don't want to quit. Like you
Yeah, I could see that almost being a sketchy situation.
I shouldn't be on there with it that hot. But like
Yeah.
you're partying, it's just hard, you know.
Just get caught up in the moment. Don't
yeah.
even look at it.
And that's how I know if I'm not visually looking. Like I know if I lose power, I know like that's what it is. But I have a big problem with that. I love angle. I love tire smoke, and yeah, that's why I drift. So it's like,
Sweet.
And yeah, so it's my fault, but I love every minute of it. So, yeah, for us, I just want to make it a little seat time car. So even if I beat the hell out of it, like it's still not gonna eat tires. It's got 200 horsepower, so
Hell yeah.
it'll be okay. So
Awesome.
and it should be a little bit cheaper too. So.
Oh, that's very fucking true.
Yeah, I can throw some cheapies on it.
Gas and all.
Yeah.
Well, what's your personal goal in drifting moving forward?
So I'd like to get, like, me and my buddies have been trying for the last couple of years to like kind of get a little team together.
Mm-hmm.
Not to really do anything super crazy, but we really want to start trying to do some of these team-based things, going like vibes, stuff like that. So that's a really big goal of ours. We've been trying, but like ducks just don't seem to fall in order. We tried a couple years ago with a bunch of people, and it didn't work out because a lot of people don't work out because like it's just everyone has different ideas, want to do different things. It just didn't work.
Too much button heads.
Yeah, and they want to go this direction. We want to go this direction. So it's just like 4 of us and 3 of us. My math is off, and it's just we just want to do that together.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing with drifting, and it's really been this last 2 years, is to travel. I want to go. I want to see every event that I can.
I have no interest in driving local tracks anymore.
I'm not
just
over it.
Fun.
Like I'm gonna do my Erie events. That's my hometown.
Well,
like that's my home track.
Still fun, but
that's my home track. I love every person there, no matter who they are. I just love that place. It's an amazing time. I don't think you can get a better drift event for the price. It's hard.
Yeah.
But going to the mansion, really, between the mansion and Drift Indy, have really struck a chord with me between keeping my car looking a certain way and driving these different tracks to push myself.
Dude, yeah, until you get that taste of it.
The biggest thing with taste was elevation change.
Really?
To me, that's what's really pushed me. So I'm starting to look for tracks this year that have elevation changes. Especially like the mansion. There's a pretty drastic elevation change throughout the whole track. There's ups and downs, and the whole track, like I said, is on a hill. So, between that and like, it's just, that was so much fun to me. Like there's a part, the way they ran the layout, where you come down the back side of the house and you have to enter in. Okay. And I usually e-brake enter. I know most people hate it. That's what I do. So I'd e-brake in, and like you're staring at the house, right? But when you look to your left, like to figure out where to turn the next turn, the way the elevation is, you can't see the track. It's gone.
Yeah.
You have to guess and hope it works. And in that moment, I was like, that was amazing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just that experience of the track's gone. Like I literally was looking at it and like, I can't see it. I don't know where it's at. Especially like the first time I did it, because again, I drive hard. Yeah. I never even did the layout. I full sent it into the turn. Like I was going at it. And it's just that excited me so much. Like that made me feel like a little kid again,
Yeah. It's like when you get a tattoo. It's like it's not adrenaline rush. I don't remember what the name of the chemical that gets released or whatever, but it's like a natural high that your body gets
and
whenever you're getting a tattoo, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I could see it being resembled to something like that.
And anyone who's never got a chance to experience like a road course or something like that along those lines, like, do it. I mean,
road course over skid pad any fucking day, dude. What?
That's like all we ever had was skid pads or like oval tracks and stuff like that. Because like Lake Erie Speedway is an oval track, but it's huge, you know. There's nothing wrong with it. I love it, but it doesn't give you that motion, that feeling, like coming down a hill or going up a hill. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just
even down to the barest. Like, if you've started drifting and you've learned in a skid pad, but like you're to the point where you can make it around the entire track, the entire layout, but like you may hit a couple cones or whatever, or drop tire or whatever. Road course really helps teach you how to stay in the lines.
Because you don't have a choice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have choice, but like, because like mid-pond or most road courses don't have walls right fucking next to them. You've got like 50, 40, 30 feet in between the actual road and any type of wall or fence that's there. So that helps. You still have the comfort, but it doesn't feel good when you go off track. So then you're like, okay, fuck, I don't want to feel that again. You become more susceptible to where you're actually physically at.
Yeah, I definitely suggest people learning on a skid pad. I would definitely make sure you can control the car, like where you know where your car is at and where it's going type deal. Like, once you have that idea in your head and you're good at it, that's when I would be like, let's go to a road course.
Exactly.
Yeah. Knowing where your car is at and where it's going to go is a huge learning thing for drifting. So
you don't have to, especially if you're going in a comp. So.
Yeah. And that's like with most road courses, like they don't allow most, you have to prove you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Most of them are in fight. Even with the mansion, like they require you to like have a certain skill set, and I definitely believe that. So.
Oh yeah. So much insurance stuff that goes into that too. That's
I can only imagine, and it's only getting worse too. Like over the last couple of years, it's only getting worse. They're trying to push.
They just want to get rid of us.
They don't like us at all. So I don't even understand why.
You make money off of us. Fuck you.
I've never understood
grow up. That. But okay, well, we'll jump into the last few questions. So, let's go with the FRS on this one.
Okay.
So you got a bone stock FRS, and you are brand new to drifting, and you go on to Injuku, and you're gonna buy the simplest setup possible to get you to your first track day. What parts are you specifically putting on that car?
So if it was me, it'd be coilovers, and then, like we talked before, I'd probably weld the diff if you plan on getting into the sport pretty hard. You know, if you know you're gonna go for it, like you want to keep going. If not, stock LSD. I do see people do it. I don't recommend it, but I do see people do it. And the steering wheel is kind of weird on the FRS. So I'd probably do a steering wheel over a bucket seat, to be honest.
Really? Okay.
I don't like the way the steering wheel fits in that car.
Gotcha.
But I actually do like the seats. The seats do hug you really well.
Right.
Which is...
So we got BC coil or true rear?
Right? Those are not.
Those are not true rear?
Yeah. I don't believe.
Wow.
Oh, wait. No, yeah, they are.
They have a bucket?
No, they don't. Sorry.
Oh, from the factory, they have no bucket whatsoever. They are factory true rear.
Yeah, they are true rear. Yeah.
Oh,
it took me a second to think. Yeah, they are true rear. At least mine are.
Oh, shit. Okay, cool. So, yeah, you got your BC coilovers and grip roll, steering wheel?
Yeah. Always grip roll. Yeah.
All right, sick. Okay. Got that in the cart? That's cheap as fuck so far.
I think that would get you drifting, honestly, in that car.
Really?
Yeah. As long as you fit in the seat well. If you don't fit in the seat well, I suggest the seat. Like I said, I'm a bigger guy. I fit in the seat really well.
Yeah.
But if you were a smaller guy like you, maybe it might struggle in a little. Because if you don't want to be fighting that seat, that's my biggest pet peeve is fighting in that driver's seat.
Even my medium NRG seat is like still, I got a tiny little bit of wiggle room on each side.
It's actually funny.
It's
actually funny. I'm a bigger guy and I fit like medium racing seats. Like,
no shit.
Yeah, I fit. I use.
they're made fucking big for me, or at least the NRG ones. I don't know. I mean,
I have
my fake
NRGs.
brides that I used to have, them boys was tight.
So the fake brides, like, you're talking about the one off eBay.
Yeah.
So I bought those for my sim a couple years ago, and my lord, are they tiny?
Yeah.
I mean, it hurt. Like, when I got out, like, I was like, I'd hit pain.
Yeah.
Like, oh
most
my God.
most like just like a female could barely fit in it because females are gonna have wider hips than us.
Yeah.
So, and that's not calling a female fat, for the love of God. I know how sensitive y'all are, but like any girl that would try and get in the car, my girlfriend too, it's like it's snug.
No.
So like,
Yeah.
and even me, I'm my scrawny ass. I
Yeah.
could barely fit in that motherfucker.
But yeah, so like that's just dependent on the driver and the size they are.
We'll just throw it in there, just cause like, dude, that's so cheap. You're okay. What, $1,200 on coilovers?
They have pretty decent angle.
$300 on the steering wheel. That's like with accessories and everything that you probably need. Well, maybe a little bit more than that, but
About that,
if you get the hub's probably $100, so maybe we'll call it $4. And then your seat. Wait, did I say seat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Coilovers, wheel, seats $500 or so. All in it too.
And coilovers.
And then the car would probably cost what? $5-6 grand? Maybe a little more than that.
Yeah, they're a little bit more than that right now.
So 7-8, all in at 11-12.
Yeah.
Dude.
And honestly, it'd be a more comfortable car even doing that without drifting too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, honestly, the FRS is a very simple car. Like, it doesn't need much to go drifting, at least at that basic level.
Is there any car you say would compare best to it as far as simplicity goes, getting into it, other than your average Z?
I was just going to say, I mean, I actually think it might be just me being more of a fanboy towards them, but like, I think they're better than the Z. They're lighter.
It's just the drivetrain is the downfall.
I understand. It's a Subaru.
Yeah.
But like, they do sound kind of cool. They sound better than VQs though. So
no argument there.
Yeah.
Hey.
So like, they have that going for it. And honestly, they're more roomy than 350Zs in my opinion. So I fit in the car really well. So
well, there you go, man.
I think
you got an FRS or a BRZ, hop on Injuku, grab your $2,000 worth of parts, and you're drifting.
Yeah.
Assuming you have tires.
Yeah, they're just a really simple car. You know, I mean, 350Zs are kind of the same too. Like, they don't need much. But like, I think like the seats and the Z and stuff, like, they don't fit well factories. That's that's a requirement. Like, you gotta change the seat. It's just, they're so bad. Especially like the premium ones, like with the leather and stuff.
Oh, I hate leather.
Anything
just
has
in
leather, it's
any
gotta
vehicle.
go. Yeah,
get it out. Cloth is the way.
Almost falling out of cars sideways because of the leather. So,
Jesus.
Also on a tangent, talking about leather seats. My Caddy has all leather seats in it, but the racing seat. So like, people in the back, even buckled in, slide around. You'll see them, like, if you watch a review, like they'll start on one side, you transition to go to the other side, you know, and they're all shoulder to shoulder. They're like this, and they're like,
they're fucking doing this shit. If there's just one person in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I had my one buddy, he sat in the center and put like the lap belt, and he's flopping around like
bad idea.
Don't do that.
You get in the corner, put the seatbelt on, and you stick your foot on the back of the center console and just ride it out.
Whoever's like with the harness bar, most people hold on to the harness bar now, so it's like
that's
like a roller coaster ride at this point, you know. Most people who like, 'cause I take a lot of people in my car. I'm the kind of guy, like, if you guys are standing there with helmets, come get in, you know. Like, I'll be waving them on, let's go. And they'll tell me, like, I've never been in the backseat of a drift car, not once in my life.
Yeah.
But they tell me it's the best time of their life. Like, they don't want to be in the front seat.
You feel all of it.
Yeah, they don't want to be in the front seat.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, that passenger seat's lame. Like, you guys can do that. Like, I'm going in the back. And they have way more fun in the back seat. So.
Oh, yeah. I had bitch seat whenever I did it this weekend in that fucking 80 horsepower BMW. So that wasn't the greatest time, but it's all good.
Yeah.
But, all right. Well, let's get your best piece of advice for anyone just getting into drifting.
Other than keep it simple, stupid?
That's your answer. It's one of the best answers, so.
I don't want to go on a long tangent about it, but I'm going to tell you I was the poster child for not keeping it simple, and it made my life harder.
Yeah.
That is my advice to anybody. Keep it simple. Keep it parts that you can buy readily available. You know, if a part's really hard to find, don't be using it if you're trying to drift. It's just not fun.
Yep.
And I understand, like, it's so cliche to say, like, just don't overbuild a car. But, like, I did that, and it's so terrible because it will.
While you're there are fucking rude.
The while you're there, they get you so bad. I argue with people all the time about that. And just keep it basic and have fun. Like, it's so difficult once you start overbuilding a car. Because what I explain to most people, and I'm sure you might understand, is like most people, if you try hard enough, can probably build a pretty good car. You know,
Absolutely.
pretty fast car, can do swaps. Everything's pretty readily available. Most people don't think about the maintenance and the cost of driving that built car. And I didn't.
Yeah.
You know? And I learned that lesson. It's a very difficult lesson to learn when you're like, I got this so cool car.
Yeah. Well, if you're anyone like me, like I physically have to like see it or go through it in order to understand it. You can tell me a million times. I'm just not.
And
makes me want to do it more.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just keeping it simple. It's just in like readily available parts because things are gonna break. You're gonna break stuff all the time. So that's just, you know, the basics. And if I did that, I'd have, like where I'm at right now and like drifting wise, I could have been, you know, 6-7 years ago.
Right.
But I decided to not do that. I decided to do the hard way and not listen to everybody else. And it doesn't work. So
don't be dumb.
Yeah.
We both did it.
Yeah.
Okay, then I guess if you had the opportunity to speak to the entire world, what would your message be?
Like in general?
Just in general.
Don't trust the government. Am I allowed to say that?
Amen to that. Oh, we're at the end of the podcast. Who gives a fuck at this point?
That's my life goal there. Is just don't trust the government. I don't know what else.
Pay the government as little as possible. Don't go to college.
Yeah, don't go to college. Don't listen to the government. They're lying to you. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You'll live a happy life.
Vote accordingly.
Yeah.
2024. Vote accordingly.
That's the one thing about the drifting community is almost everybody seems to be on point with stuff like that. So
yeah.
I
always like, because nobody really talks about politics in the drift world. Yeah. But then again, after you think about it, it's like there's not really a need to. Everyone's kind of on the same page.
Yeah, even if
like most people are extremely conservative when it comes to it because we're broke and not trying to spend so much money on our tires anymore.
And people keep bothering us. You know,
that
the more the government keeps bothering you, you're like, I don't know if I like these people. You know.
Yeah, I'm becoming more libertarian by the day. What happened?
Yeah, cars definitely helped with that, becoming more libertarian and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I don't know how we got there, but we're here. So, all right. Well, now you know what we believe and all that. So, yeah. Well, you want to shout anybody out or plug a shelf, anything like that? Sponsors.
I mean, I'm sponsored by me. That's pretty much it. I do have wiring specialties on board this year, and I know you guys really like NRG, but I'm a big Corbu guy, so they're on board this year. That's why I run them. And
I've never ran one of their seats. I would love to though.
Honestly,
but I like the purple seats. That's the problem. Nobody makes colored seats.
I know Corbus are very basic.
Yeah,
you know, in terms of like they're not all fancy and leopard print stuff like that. I get it.
Now that's a little excessive for me.
NRG has them though,
but
but I will say they are just so comfortable. And like I street them, and it's just I love them. So like they're an awesome company. And then I mean,
you can get those on a Juku anyways.
Yeah. BC Racing helped me out a ton with my car, figuring out spring rates and going to the true rear coil and stuff like that. I guess the only guy, since we're talking about caddies and stuff, anyone wants to build a caddy, hit up Stansco.
Okay.
Mike over there has been building stuff left and right for those cars. And he's one of the guys I work with doing these things. So he builds all kinds. He works on an angle kit. He has dual caliper brackets. I mean, all kinds of control arms, stuff like that. So if you do want to build a CTS, he's pretty much the guy who's got the parts for it. So
fucking right.
He pretty much has a catalog to get the car on the track. So
hell yeah. Well, there you go. Oh, my camera's dead. Oh well. You're going off the big cam for me. Sorry, fuck you. I don't care. We're already in it. So this has been a long podcast, I guess. Well, cool. Hell yeah, dude.
I can talk forever. So
yeah. Was that all you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. Yeah, that's all we got for this one then. I really appreciate you driving the 10 hours. That's quite a ways. So it's always awesome to see a lot of people. He was one of the ones that emailed and reached out. So again, if you guys do want to email and be on the podcast, just email me, thecircleofdrift@gmail.com. Put drift resume as the subject, please, so I can organize it. Thanks. But that's all we got for this one, guys. I really appreciate you watching and staying to the very end, especially. But yeah, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below the video, and all the links that you'll ever need to anything we discuss, especially anything on Juku you might need, is always in the description. So we'll see you each and every Sunday for a new episode. Thanks. Peace.
Had to find a new hoe. I ran out of options. You ain't gotta take it there. All you do is pop shit. All your niggas told on you. You don't even pop shit. Get the bag on touchdown. I like playing offense. All my plays is locked in. They don't go nowhere, they locked in.